Good morning, Movie Meals!
Jungle Book!
We have a stack of homemade flapjacks by this beautiful man. He made flapjacks!
Thank you.
Movie meals.
I'm proud of myself. They are going to be very delicious.
Haven't tried them yet. Hopefully they are. Or,
Yeah.
or there may be one person doing movie meals from now on. We are here to talk about the Jungle Book. Sorry, I'm getting some butter.
Yeah, that's all good.
You can't not put butter on your flapjack. That's
No,
just
you can. No, you
inappropriate.
cannot. Yeah, Jungle Book finally came out. It's been one of our most anticipated. We got to see it opening night. We're going to review it for you guys. We're going to tell you about the good. We're going to tell you about the bad. But I think, judging by both of us, we might be talking a little more about the good than the bad.
We also haven't talked about it. We maybe briefly was like, oh, I did a lot kind of thing when we got out of the film. But we were a little bit angry when we got out of the movie for other reasons not having to do with the movie. So we went to bed to just kind of get that off. Let's just say, don't be annoying and rude in a movie theater
Please,
while
guys.
people are trying to watch
Common
the movie.
courtesy.
They paid
Come
money
on.
to see it. Don't do that. All right, let's get to it, shall we?
Yeah.
Positives, negatives. Kyle, you start us off. I want to eat one of these flapjacks. Go.
All right, first off, well done, Jon Favreau, director of Jungle Book. I think he made a very good adaptation of the Jungle Book, where it's a little bit more of a new twist on this story, but it still has the same flavor as back from the 1969 original movie.
Pass the syrup.
Absolutely, there you
Thank
go. Yeah, Jon Favreau did an amazing job with just about every part of this movie, especially when it comes to casting for this movie. I can't tell you how amazed I am by the cast showing up to this and putting in all of their hard work into this movie. Like, the casting choices for every character was on par. But Bill Murray as Baloo was incredible. Ben Kingsley as Bagheera was incredible. Idris Elba, I think, killed it as Shere Khan. Shere Khan,
Killed it.
that casting was perfect. He was born to play Shere Khan. Lupita Nyong'o was awesome as Lupita. What was the wolf's name?
The mother wolf. I
name.
can't
I'm
remember
spacing
her
on
name right now either.
But no, and that was also another thing that I liked about was the wolves. Well, I'll get into that later. Yeah, every single part of the casting I thought was on point. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna get the butter now.
Loved this movie. The casting was perfect. And spoiler alert, by the way, we're going into spoilers. If you read the title, you should understand that. Scarlett Johansson as Ka was fantastic. It bums me out we didn't get more of her. You didn't really need Scarlett Johansson to be her for so little she's on screen time.
Get the butter.
But it was awesome. And I mean, everyone was perfect voice casting. I actually loved Christopher Walken as King Louie.
I did too.
Loved it. Bill Murray as Baloo. Ben Kingsley was perfect as Bagheera to give this soft and soothing, like mentor to Mowgli, this voice of reason, with Bill Murray as the perfect voice to be this jumping around, carefree bear. And you're right, though. I think it comes down to Shere Khan. He was fantastic.
One of my
Idris
favorites.
Elba killed it. And we are big fans of Idris here at Movie Meals. We love Idris Elba. And man, he killed it. And Lupita did very well too. It was interesting because there's one moment during the movie I was like, I'm going to close my eyes. And I just pictured Maz Kanata from Star Wars because she also voices her.
Right.
Man, I loved it. I loved all of it. And speaking real quick, before we get back to you, on what you were saying about the adaptation, the book is dark. I haven't read the book, but I know of the book. I know it's a darker. Disney did that with a lot of their movies. They took dark stories. I mean, if you ever know the true story of Cinderella, it's pretty dark. And they changed them into these great animations. And Jon Favreau found a way to do both. It was different than the animation, but still had moments of true to the animation and a nod with the music they had in the film.
I was very pleased with the music.
I was as well.
Anyway, you.
And then just the last point is it didn't feel too dark. It is a little bit scary. If I was a parent, I don't know if I would take a kid under like 6 or 7 maybe to see it, because there are some parts that are pretty frightening for adults. We're fine with it, but they're pretty frightening. But it was a darker tone, but still had so much fun. And I'm going to say this one thing, and then we'll transition back to you again. I know I said that twice now, but when we were talking about the performance, we gotta talk about this kid Mowgli, who plays Mowgli. I can't even remember his name. I apologize for that. He's brand new to the acting scene.
Mm-hmm.
He was amazing. He was charming. This little boy, you rooted for him. You fell in love with him. You just enjoyed his spirit in the film, and he killed it. And it is incredibly hard to act in front of a green screen.
Well, being a child actor.
Yeah,
at
well,
that
I mean,
age.
like, look
Yeah.
at Hayden Christensen. He's an adult. Even, like, Ian McGregor in the Star Wars prequels. He's incredible actor. Incredible. But even he has trouble a little bit because you're talking to something that's not there, that you can't bounce your performance off of. He kills it. If you didn't know, this entire movie is CGI, except for Mowgli. He's the only live action anything. I mean, they built maybe little, like, things for him to jump off of when he's jumping around in the trees and stuff, but that's not much practical effects. It's all CGI, and it's breathtaking.
It's beautiful.
Back to
it
you,
is
Big
beautiful
Dog.
CGI.
Gorgeous.
And again, going back to the characters, I think what Jon Favreau did well on, as well as the actors did, with that, we still got the same characters from the original movie, but we were able to get a little more depth on them. Like Shere Khan, I think, was much more terrifying compared to the animated film version.
He's a little bit creepier.
Yeah.
Like, in the animated one, he gives this creepy vibe, and in this, it's just, I am the king. You will fear me type thing.
Yeah, and that also the same thing as with the wolves. I mean, for me, one of the things I had noticed about when watching the animated movie again was that the wolves weren't a major part of the story, even though he grew up with them. And in this, they were a huge part of the story, and they were also given like a really good, this good meaning of having family and always being there together with your pack. And I thought that was a very good part of this movie to include throughout the whole story, and that's why I liked Lupita Nyong'o's character so much, was that because she was able to show that throughout her acting.
Well, something the animation does that kind of restricted it is it was like, I remember when we were watching it, Bagheera says, I'll take him to the man village. It's about a 3-day trip from here. But this, they don't really give a time frame. And it worked for me. At first, I was kind of like, well, because he takes the fire at the end and he runs all the way back. And I'm like, how far did this kid really travel? But it didn't bother me too much because
really?
they never set it up like, well, it's a 3-day trip. I mean, it's a big jungle, yes, but at the same time, it's like, it's a big enough city that has multiple districts in it. You can still get around decently quick. And they didn't be like, he ran all night, but the sun was slowly coming up as he took the fire. So there was a time passing. So it didn't bother me too much. It is, it's laughable. It's a little funny, but
yeah, that was one of my little nitpicks on this.
But it didn't bother me as much, and I think that's why we could see the wolves more. I think that's something where they were like, we can make this weird moment happen that people might be like, I thought he traveled so much farther, but to allow him to come back and to be with the wolves really helped to really flesh out his relationship with them that you don't get in the animation, like you were saying. And I love this movie, man. I loved it. All right, should we get to negatives, or you still got any more positives?
Let's hop to negatives for a sec if you have any.
All right, well, we'll start with you.
Honestly, it was mostly little nitpicky things that I have with this. Nothing really too bad that stood out throughout this movie, that's for sure. Nitpicky thing number one, like you said, the time lapse with him traveling back to fight Shere Khan on where the wolves live. I was confused by the timeline because I thought it was going to be a long journey for a while, but then all of a sudden he was running back towards them in one night when it felt like a couple of days have passed.
Yeah.
So that the whole timeline thing kind of bothered me a little bit. And also the second thing was the conflict between Baloo and Mowgli for a little part of the movie where Bagheera convinces Baloo to tell Mowgli to go back to the man village. That part bothered me a little, only because I don't imagine Baloo suddenly lying to Mowgli, saying, I never cared about you, even though it clearly shows that you did. I don't know. Those were like my two real nitpicky things that didn't make sense to me in the movie. Oh, and I also am not sure whether or not I like Christopher Walken's I Want to Be Like You version of the song, but that's just more of a personal thing to me. But yeah, overall, I think this is a standout movie.
All right, here's my little nitpicks. I agree with you. Would you pass the syrup as well again? You took it and didn't give it back. I agree with you on I wasn't upset by the Baloo being like, winter's here now, I don't need you, I was never your friend. It didn't work because it was just like, oh, here's Bagheera. All right, now he saved the elephant. All right, he's going to get killed. He'll listen to you. Like in the animation, there's a little bit more time with just Mowgli and Baloo where you really start to really feel their friendship. And I felt their friendship in this, but it wasn't enough that all of a sudden I was just like, yep, makes sense that Baloo would all of a sudden turn his... Like, it didn't really work because it was so quick to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I even really forgot that part even happened. But it was more of a device to keep the story moving along and to get him to... I mean, you didn't even really need that. He could have just been like, I'm going to go up in this tree, and then the monkeys snatch him.
Yeah.
Instead of him being like, I'm going to make you go in the tree because I don't like you. And the whole story would have still unfolded.
Yeah.
But that's also an iconic thing in the animation.
Yeah.
So it could have been a nod as well as what Jon Favreau might have been going for. My other nitpicky thing, okay, I actually liked the song I Want to Be Like You. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I really like Christopher Walken as the voice. I think he
the voice.
nailed it.
Yeah, the voice was perfect.
But with the Baloo song, when he sings The Bare Necessities, it worked for me in what they were doing. They were doing this little montage of, being friends, being pals with the other little creatures around them and having a good time. And then they're just kind of, singing along. And it worked for me. In that one, it felt more like we're a musical. It felt more like we sing in this movie. Like it didn't have a natural flow. He just started singing.
Yeah.
But I loved it at the same time. It's just a small nitpick that if there would have been a little bit more dialogue. I mean, he has the dialogue that builds up to him singing. But for the way what happened with Baloo, for me, it was more organic. And I wish this would have been a little bit more organic as a whole.
Yeah.
But I still loved it. Those are really my only nitpicks. I mean, you can complain. I have a feeling the biggest nitpick I see a lot of people we know going, I don't like this movie because it's all CGI and there's no practical effects. The CGI is flawless.
Yeah.
Like,
I enjoyed it a lot.
For common people, for common moviegoers, when I say common people, common moviegoers who are not immersed into the world.
Folk.
The people that aren't immersed in the world watching... The peasants. Watching all the trailers, listening to the news, soaking all this movie in. For the people that go see a few movies a year who want to see The Jungle Book, to them, if they don't know if this is shot in California, they're going to think they went on location. It looks that good.
Yeah.
There are just moments where they have close-ups of birds and you're like, I'm looking at a real bird. It is that. It's so good. You want to look at your pet when you get home and be like, why don't you talk? Dog, why don't you talk like the adorable wolf in the movie?
Why is your
dog
named Dog? Why don't you talk, dog?
I didn't get a pick, okay? I didn't get to pick the name. But it's I lost my train of thought now. You go, let me eat a bite.
I just remembered one thing. I would like a little bit more of time with Baloo and Mowgli just because I was enjoying them so much when they were first meeting each other. But I mean, with the montage scene that we got and them saying bare necessities, it was enough for me to enjoy myself, that's for sure. I mean, I just had so much fun with them. I would like a little more time. Like we said, this movie's very good.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a
also
great
fun.
time. And they changed the ending, which I was kind of excited because in the animation it's so weird when he's just sitting there and the girl's filling up and she's like,
drops the
hey,
jug. Oops.
Winks at him. Come on. Walking
this ending
with
makes
the
more
pot
sense.
on her head.
This ending makes more sense.
And Mowgli's like, I like girl. And it just marches into the main
and Bagheera's like, yeah, go.
yeah.
Baloo's like,
Bagheera, I remember that, but because we were laughing at Baloo's face because he was just like, just like, what is this woman doing to him? But I liked this ending. I was kind of wondering if they were going to go that route and if it was going to feel as cheesy and thrown out.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And they left him in the jungle, which sets them up for a better sequel, I think, because they already announced they're doing a Jungle Book 2. It sets it up for a better sequel because they don't have to then go into the village the next day and get him back out because they miss him. Some other event, they can kind of have a little bit more creative freedom, and there's more stories in the books, but there's more they can do, and I'm excited to see that without just because in the animated it's a bow, but they didn't want it. The first one just has a bow tie ending. It's like he's there, and they kind of force him back into the jungle, so it'd be kind of cool to see what they can do.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
I loved this movie, man. When it ended, I just had the biggest grin on my face. Our buddy Carson, who you guys have met, looked at me and I was just like, it was so good. Like, I loved it. Everything was beautiful. I can't get over how incredible the CGI looked. Just all of it. They didn't shoot any of it practically, pretty much. And that kid delivers a heck when he hugs the wolves. You're like, he's hugging a wolf.
Yep, that
Did
makes
they bring
sense.
a wolf in to set? Like, jeez, it's so good.
It's so breathtaking, and it's fun to watch from beginning to end. It never really slows down. It's just so much fun to watch.
I thought there was a little moment of slowdown when it was just before Bagheera shows up after they sing the Bare Necessities. There's a little bit of time where it's just really Baloo and him and stuff. So I thought it slowed down a little bit, but it wasn't bothersome. It was kind of like, like that.
Just a little.
Yep, little stutter and then boom.
Okay.
So, all right, you want to give it a score out of 10 or anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we got our major points across. Great actors giving out great roles or delivering
Great performances.
delivering on their performances. Jon Favreau nailed it with this version of the Jungle Book.
Beautiful CGI.
Beautiful CGI, beautiful cinematography. It was so much fun. It was a well done movie. That's why I think I'll give this a 9 out of 10. And this is definitely worth the scene in the theater.
Absolutely. If you don't see it in the theater, you're probably making a mistake. Because it needs to be seen in that big screen environment. I wouldn't mind seeing this on an IMAX.
Oh, yeah.
It's that beautiful. I agree with Kyle, everything he said. People who hate CGI for some all reasons, this works so well. So well. So go in with an open mind and be excited about this movie, and don't get so upset if it's not the Disney movie. This isn't the Disney animated. The Disney animated does not go away when we get a new retelling of a story, and this works. Disney with their live action, to me, has been hitting it out of the park. I wasn't a big fan of Maleficent. I finally saw it. I wasn't a big fan. But I loved Cinderella.
Yeah, that one was really
And Cinderella was very charming, and this I loved even more. This was so good. I agree with this, man. 9 out of 10, baby. Go check out The Jungle Book in theaters after you enjoy some flapjacks.
Please.
Now, before we sign off here, would like to give a big shout out and thank you to our buddy Carson, because he's been supporting us. He's been sharing some of our videos. He's been really into what we're doing and being a great friend, and we loved having him in for the Batman v Superman video, and we love having him around in this for movie meals. So we want to give a big thank you to him, because without him, I don't think we would have hit 600 views on our last Doctor Strange trailer reaction video.
Yeah, crazy.
And that is the most. I mean, we know it's not much to a lot of people who do YouTube for a living, but to us who are just starting out, two guys just loving talking about movies.
It's awesome.
It's
It's
really
an
cool
awesome
for
feeling.
us that 600 something people are watching this video. So thank you guys so much,
Yeah,
and
thank
thank you
you.
to Carson for helping us out, and everybody else who supported us. We wanted to give a
Including
special
your mother.
and mother. She's always
She's our number one
I think
fan.
my mom made 600 different accounts and watched our video
I can see her doing
multiple
that.
times. Thank you, mother, and thank you, Carson. We want to give a shout out
Thank you,
to you.
everyone.
So yeah, go ahead, follow us on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle, Kyle?
At Kai the Cool Kid. Cool has a K in it and not with a C. I'll have to change that later because I think that's a little confusing. But it's at Kai the Cool
I'll put
Kid.
it in the description below.
Yeah.
Follow me at AJVWeaver7 on Twitter, and please like, comment, share, help some guys who just enjoy food and movies to make their dreams come true, and just keep talking about it and keep helping us. So thank you guys
Go see the Jungle
so
Book.
much, and go see the Jungle Book. Thank you guys so much. As always, Mother, thank you for watching. We will catch you guys all later. Bye-bye.
See ya.